Shalom, shalom. First off, I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well, whose labors we have entered into. Shalom to the elect, beginning with the 144,000. And to all you brothers and sisters tuning in, may this lesson be edifying and uplifting to your spirits. This is the brother Halalim from the Great Millstone branch of Chicago, coming at you with another lesson of truth. And as you know, July 4th, the folly is tomorrow. The 250th anniversary of America. Ever since they gained independence from Britain, as they say. When they gained independence as a nation. As the brothers in our camp have noticed, in Chicago, in the Chicago area, the Lord completely changed the spirit of the entire day. This whole day has been raining, in thunderstorms on and off, over and over again. As these people buy their fireworks in preparation for, tomorrow and the folly that's going to be taking place. The Lord is literally and figuratively raining on these niggas' parade, man. Because while these people are distracted with the affairs of this world, distracted with, the World Cup, all of these distractions that Esau Edom has placed in front of the masses in order to distract them from what's really going on and the policies and laws being passed behind closed doors, the Lord, he's getting ready to facilitate major judgments in the earth. And many of those judgments occur on highly celebrated days like this. And in this video I'm about to play, you're about to see a prime example of judgments that take place on days like this. But before I let this video play, I just want to get the scripture real quick. This Jeremiah chapter 10, and I start at verse 1. It says, "Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them." So the point is what? Learn not the way of the heathen. Here it is. These jakes are about to celebrate a country that not only, isn't worth celebrating, but they're celebrating, this country achieving its independence when our forefathers were still, picking cotton, slaving away for 24 hours, working when it's dark and working from when it's dark in the morning to when it gets dark in the evening, and things of that nature. You're celebrating a country that isn't even worth celebrating right now, man. Partaking in all this foolishness. But according to prophecy, the Lord was going to establish judgment at a time when most people would be merry and eating and drinking, like it said in Matthew 24:37, like as in the days of Noah before the flood, when the people were in a state of ignorance and celebration before the judgment of the Lord came. But without further ado, I'm going to let this video play. This video showcases 3 judgments that occurred in previous years on this very day that's coming up tomorrow. So may this lesson be edifying. Without further ado, let's let the clip play.
Here are some morbid facts about the 4th of July. Just before the 2015 NFL season, Giants defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul severely injured his right hand when a powerful firework exploded prematurely. The blast shattered multiple bones, caused extensive burns, and forced doctors to amputate some of his fingers. But despite the life-changing injury, he returned to the NFL and later won a Super Bowl title with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In 2015, 22-year-old former Disney World performer Devin Staples, who had previously played Gaston and Goofy at the park, was celebrating the 4th of July with some friends when he attempted to launch a fireworks mortar from the top of his head. The shell exploded instantly, killing him at the scene. His family later said he wasn't trying to do something reckless. He was only pretending to as a joke when the fireworks unexpectedly ignited. This was the moment a single explosion turned Mexico's largest fireworks market into a war zone. The 2016 blast ignited hundreds of tons of fireworks at the San Poblito market in Toltepec, triggering a chain reaction of explosions that leveled most of the market within seconds. At least 42 people were killed and nearly 100 more were injured, with many victims suffering catastrophic burns. Homes surrounding the market were heavily damaged, and several children required treatment for burns covering 90% of their bodies. Despite the disaster, the market was eventually rebuilt by fire explosions in previous years.
And that's just one example of, judgments that take place on these highly celebrated holidays. Because, and this always occurs every year. Every year on these highly celebrated days, Halloween, Christmas, all these different celebrations, there's always a plethora of judgments waiting to occur. As the Lord judges these people, for their wickedness, for the transgressions and sins that they committed. He usually waits until these celebrated days to do it because he knows that the majority of these people are going to be, in a state of drunk. People like to get drunk on these days. People like to get high on some substances. And the Lord preserves these people for these special days to unleash his judgment upon them, man. And best believe tomorrow will be no different. By Sunday morning, best believe it's going to be a lot of reports on, 4th of July shootings and things of that nature. Because specifically, in Chicago, they probably do this in other cities too, but in Chicago, the YNs, they specifically like to go out and, commit their, crimes and homicides and things of that nature on the 4th of July. Going out and shooting people, because all the fireworks are going off. So if you go out and commit a shooting, most people that don't really have a good ear wouldn't suspect anything that's going on. They think that it's all fireworks and things of that nature. But the whole time, it's some niggas partaking in, wickedness. And this is why the Lord judges people on these highly esteemed days amongst these niggas, man. This is the book of Romans, chapter 1, in verse 20. And it says, "For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world." Matter of fact, let me start at 18. It says, Romans 1 and 18, "For the wrath of the Most High is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness," which is why, major judgments take place on these holidays, because it's a lot of wickedness and a lot of folly, a lot of fornication, adultery, unlawful sex, man, having sex with another man's woman, alphabet activity, the sodomites. A lot of wicked folly goes on these holidays, man. And people use these days as an excuse to do all manner of wickedness and stupid activities, man. Verse 19, "Because that which may be known of the Most High is manifest in them, for the Most High shewed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as the Most High, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened." And then that's why these people celebrate these holidays, man. These wicked jakes out here in the world. That's why they partake in these holidays, man. because they are vain in their imaginations and they have a foolish heart. Not a heart to follow after Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and be obedient unto him in hopes of being delivered from the coming peril and destruction coming to this place, but to be partakers with the wicked in the affairs of this world. That they give you no profit. Besides this wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, if you're an Israelite man, nothing else in this world can really profit you or make you whole besides this wisdom and knowledge. But the general populace, of our people, the 2/3, they simply don't understand that. So it's going to take judgments occurring in the earth to the highest degree. Jeremiah, matter of fact, let me just get it. Jeremiah 30:7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." And that he is referring to the elect. But Jacob's trouble, is coming soon. Matter of fact, we're already in Jacob's trouble. The elders and apostles have been saying that, for a while now. We're not coming into Jacob's trouble. We're already in Jacob's trouble. There are a lot of Jake being found hung on trees in southern states. They found a Judite woman, so-called black woman, hung on a tree on Juneteenth. Major judgments are going forward. It's just that it hasn't reached its climax yet. Society hasn't truly reached its breaking point. We're just seeing, snippets and glimpses of that. Jacob's trouble hasn't fully been unleashed. But from there, let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 16 and 15, and it says, "And he said unto them, Ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but the Most High knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of God." Right. Everything that's highly esteemed and highly valued in this world is foolishness in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So how much more, the celebrations and, the customs of the nation in the earth that oppressed the apple of his eye. And how much more him looking down on the earth and seeing the apple of his eye, his own people, willingly partaking in these celebrations, man. Celebrating Babylon the Great gaining its independence. This place that has earned its name and reputation through the genocide and the rape, robbery, murder, and pillaging of our nation. So I ended off with, of course, this Amos chapter 5 and 21. And it says, I hate, matter of fact, hold on. It says, I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them, neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beast. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. So, for the people that partake in these holidays, man, this 4th of July bullshit, the 250th year anniversary of this place, celebrating the great whore that sat upon the beast, as it was mentioned in Revelation, the Lord is going to rain down judgment, as waters, as the rain. And it's been raining this whole day. That's not just a regular occurrence. The Lord changed the spirit of the entire day for a reason, man. These people are celebrating, but judgment is getting ready to occur. It's about to rain down on Babylon, spiritually and figuratively. So I hope this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rakak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Shalom, and until the next lesson.